is Franz of the Franz Experience. Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time viewing, please go ahead and subscribe at www.thefranzexperience.life. We believe you were definitely bumped on course. I'm on a few other social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and also some TikTok and YouTube as well. I had to come on today and discuss something that was very troublesome. This is going to be brief, but I'm hoping that this message gets across to everyone. September 2020, I was mauled by a dog, which I pretty much fought for my life. And I'm still overcoming the traumas, the pains, and so on that had occurred from this mauling, okay? 3 days ago, there was an infant killed. 7 days ago, there was a 7-year-old killed. Maulings, bites, attacks are happening all over the world. Over 200,000 in the US, and that's this year. How many more needs to occur before we really understand that sometimes you just don't have control of the animals, okay? I've had them growing up all my life. I love them dearly. And when I tell you I did not have fear of these animals until it happened to me. When you're bitten, ripped and torn at, drug across the floor, just in a sense that this shouldn't happen to a person. This should never happen to a person. When that happens to you, God forbid it does. And if it has happened to you, I know your pain. The trauma and the mental anguish that's left behind is very troubling. As much as I adore animals, I have the hardest time walking past a dog, being in the vicinity of a dog, and it can completely change my focus at the time. I can go into an anxiety attack. PTSD from it is real, okay? My ask is simple. If you have animals, set your pride aside for just a moment. Just a moment is sometimes all it takes. Between saving a life, saving yourselves of going through trauma and just unforeseen circumstances. Take a moment. If you're having guests over throughout these holidays, please put your animals away in a space that does not cause or cannot cause harm to anyone. If you live in a household and you have children, as much as you think that this animal, dog, or your baby feels, when I say your baby, I mean your animals, because they are your babies. You love them dearly, and I've loved mine dearly, the ones that I've had. And God forbid you have to lose one. I've also had to go through having an animal, having a dog. Poindexter was his name, who seized out, and he was no longer with us. The pain is unbearable to lose an animal. It's not fair to the animal either. Please look at how you're putting these animals in an uncomfortable environment. They're very familiar with you. They may even be slightly comfortable around guests. But there's a possibility they are not. Unless you can completely decipher in some form of dog language, or cat language, unless you can decipher exactly what they are saying, you are not in control. If it's an alpha female, alpha male, who you are, and you've trained your dog, it doesn't matter, okay? If the dog decides that it wants to change its own course of behavior, ask yourselves, are you fully capable of jumping in, stopping a dog attack or dog mauling without anyone getting hurt? Do you understand that people are being charged for negligence? Can you imagine losing your infant and then also being charged for it? The pain you're going through, the fact that you've lost a loved one, and then you're being judged on whether or not you put this beautiful, beautiful infant whom you've loved throughout the time of the pregnancy and the birth and so on. Can you imagine being charged for that? That you put your child or children in harm's way. That's absurd to think of when someone's going through losing their children. That's absurd to think of when someone has animals that they love, and they're like big babies. They love the babies too. They love the children. But what happens when the behaviors of these animals change? A woman who owned multiple dogs, pit bulls, American bullies, and I believe a golden retriever, found killed by her own dog who mauled her. This pit bull or American bully, the two of them mauled her. The golden retriever didn't touch her at all. How do I know this? Well, it's unfortunate that the woman isn't here to tell her story. But you can look it up. They found that the bites were from the two dogs and not the third. Can you imagine loving something for so long and then it decides it's going to treat you like a piece of meat? It's going to rip and tear at you until there is no more of you. I've suffered enough. I've had 8 puncture wounds, a hole in my arm, 14 stitches, no use of the right arm. I work hard every day to regain full usage of my arm and hand. I just had knee surgery a couple of days ago. When I tell you that that is the external trauma, the external that you can see, but internally, I do not want to be around your dogs. I can smile and watch you play with them to some degree. The minute the dog decides that it wants to jump up and show all this energy, it's way too much for me. Yeah, sure, it's something I have to overcome. But don't judge me. Don't judge anyone who walks past you and they stop. They move aside. They move away. They go the other direction. Please do not get upset with them. Do not say, please, do not say, my dog is friendly. Your dog is friendly to you. The day you are puzzled as to why did your dog decide to bite or snap at someone. Ever hear this? Oh my gosh, that has never happened before. Yeah, well, let's work on not having to say that has never happened before. There are lives. One life is precious. And don't think, oh, this person must have done something. They may have moved a certain way. Listen, I didn't do anything. I wasn't afraid of the dog. I've had Shih Tzus, American, I've had American Bulldogs, okay? We had a rescue Rottweiler, not Rottweiler, Pit Bull. We've had Great Dane. I was not afraid. And can you imagine those who are surviving from being mauled? They have to go through day to day, walking past people with their loving pets in fear. And when I tell you, you can tell yourself all day long, or you can tell us how to get over it if you dare. And I'm going to be blunt about this. Come and talk to me about how to be after you've been ripped and torn apart, drug across the floor, and have had to have not one, not two, but 3 people help you get this dog off of you. By the grace of God, I'm here. And I'm here to tell you that as cute as they are, as adorable as they are, if you cannot say 100% that you are fully in control of these animals, please think twice about having them around your little ones, or even around yourself. I've seen it where people are unable to restrain their animals. There are some animals, and please, I think the majority of the dog bites or injuries from dogs are done to children between ages of 6 and 14, I believe it is. They love the animals. They really do. Allowing the children to pet your animals, or allowing them to just come up to an animal and try to pet them, it's not 100% guaranteed that nothing is going to happen. Maybe you're making the animals uncomfortable. Maybe the owners aren't very open to you touching the dogs. You have service dogs, okay? And service dogs are not supposed to be pet in some instances. Sometimes people allow that, okay? But they've been trained specially to be around their owners, to take care of their owners, to be supportive to their owners. Even though they're trained specifically to handle that, I'm still not comfortable. You have therapy, group therapies, you have the fact that at some point in time you have to be around animals, dogs, whichever it is, okay? At some point you have to realize you have to be able to adapt around animals. If you are having your pets with you outside, outdoors at a function, my ask is this: keep the dog near to your leg. The retractable leashes, they don't always work. Please make sure you have a hold of your dog. If you know your dog likes to taste and nip at everything, sometimes puppies, they do that. It's not like they want to hurt you, okay, but they can. There are tools and supplies at pet stores. Maybe take your dog through some trainings. Make sure that if you've adopted another dog, look at whether or not there's been any previous histories of that animal biting or attacking someone. Find out what the histories are of these animals, please. Not just for my sake, but for your loved one's sake. If it were you, how would you feel? This is Franz at the Franz Experience. My heart goes out to all of those who are lost and no longer with us due to a vicious attack of a dog. This is Franz of the Franz Experience. Take care.